Hello, y'all. This is Julian Rico. Welcome to a special edition of Sports News. College football predictions, week 4. And the game is going fast, so let's get to it. Let's start with games to watch. These are the games that you could expect to watch. So here are the games. We'll start the Friday games. Illinois, 24th ranked team in the country, taking on number 22nd team in the country, Nebraska. 8 p.m. on Fox. Nebraska is favored by minus 7.5. Illinois coming off an impressive win against Kansas State, while for Nebraska, a demolished win against Northern Iowa. I'm going to take Nebraska. I think they get this win. I'm going to say they win this game by 7. Marshall taking on third three-ranked team in the country, Ohio State, at 12 p.m. on Fox. Ohio State is favored by minus 39.5, and I'm going to keep that. I'm going to say Ohio State wins it by 39. College football 25 game of the week. NC State taking on 21st ranked team in the country, Clemson, at 12 p.m. on ABC and ESPN Plus. Clemson is favored by minus 18.5. Good game, of course. Grayson McCall is not going to start for this game, so I'm going to say Clemson wins it by 10. Really close game. NC State's defense is going to hopefully keep this game close. I just think Clemson is back on track. They'll win it by 10. The Florida Gators take on the Mississippi State Bulldogs, 12 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Florida is favored by minus 6, and this is a must-win for Florida, of course, after last week's loss to Texas A&M, and of course the fans chanting fire Billy Napier's name. That's a huge must-win for them. Meanwhile, for Coach Levy and Mississippi State, they're hoping to pull off an upset here. This is going to be a good one. I really think it's going to be a really close game. I expect Florida to get back on track, so I'm going to go with the Florida Gators here. I say they will win this by 5. Kansas taking on West Virginia, 12 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. West Virginia coming off a disappointing loss to, I believe, a disappointing loss to Pittsburgh, if I was wrong. Kansas is probably coming off a big loss to UNLV. So this is a must-win for Kansas, and I think they'll win it. They go in West Virginia. I think it's really a tough place to play for Kansas, but I think Kansas go on the road, stunts this crowd. They'll win it by 4. All right. 11 team in the country, USC taking on 18 team in the country, Michigan, at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on CBS. USC is favored by minus 5. Why minus 5? Michigan made the big move to Alex Orji to start this game against USC. It makes sense. He's a mobilized quarterback. They want to have that run power offense. And if they win this game, that's going to be huge. However, they're playing a USC team that is undefeated, dark horse team that can win the Big Ten. And my chest, this is going to be a good one. I would want to watch this game. I think this game is going to be the one I will be looking to watch. The one I'm going to be looking forward to is going to be the game of the week, which we'll talk about that. I think this is a good game. I think Michigan keeps it close. However, I think Dylan Miller Moss, Lincoln Riley on the road, not going to do how Texas did it, but I think they keep it close. I think USC wins it by 6 against Michigan. UCLA taking on 16th-ranked team in the country, LSU, 3:30 p.m. Eastern on ABC, ESPN Plus. LSU is favored by minus 22.5. LSU's coming off a big win against South Carolina on the road, while UCLA, it's been rough year in the Deshaun Foster era. Losing to Indiana, really, to the Hoosiers, big one. So, is this a rebound game for Deshaun Foster and UCLA? I'm sorry. I think Brian Callahan and UCLA is too good. I think they win this by 16. I think that 22.5 is going to go under. I think LSU wins it by 16. All right, we call this the MAC upset game, maybe. Miami, Ohio, taking on 17th team in the country, Notre Dame, at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on NBC and Peacock. Notre Dame is favored by minus 28. Notre Dame. I know you defeated Purdue, but now you got to play another MAC team in Miami, Ohio. So here's what I'm going to say. Notre Dame's going to win it by 20. That's it. No words. No words. Arkansas taking on Auburn. This is a good game also. 3:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Auburn is favored by minus 2.5. I think Auburn is, after that loss to Cal, it's a real frustration in Auburn. Arkansas is a good team. I think this team can really be good. However, I think Auburn still will keep it close. I think they win it by 4. This is a big game. Would have been in the game of the week, but 12th team in the country, Utah, taking on 14th-ranked team in the country, Oklahoma State Cowboys, 4 p.m. Eastern on Fox. The Cowboys are favored by minus 2.5. Now we get to see what Utah is capable of in the Big 12. Of course, Utah's coming off a win against their brother rivals, Utah State. Oklahoma State, again, look at how this game's going to impact Oklahoma State's season. If they win against Utah, never know what's going to happen in their season. Utah needs to show they're the threat in the Big 12. And I think this is close. I think Utah wins it by 4. I think Utah keeps it close and wins it against Oklahoma State. And then finally, 8th-ranked team in the country, Miami, taking on South Florida, 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Miami's favored by minus 17. I'm going to say Miami wins it by 18. Just one more point. I think South Florida will keep it close in the first half, and in the second half, the rest goes to Miami. You know how Cam Ward is going to play, and Miami is going to send a message to say we're the threat in the ACC. Interesting games. So here are the Friday games that are going to be interesting. Stanford taking on Syracuse at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Syracuse is favored by minus 8.5. I'm going to go with Syracuse winning it by 8. San Jose taking on Washington State at 10 p.m. on the CW network. The Cougars are favored by minus 12. Of course, after that impressive win against Jetfish and Washington, I'm going to say they win it by 10. Really close game. I think they get handled against San Jose. James Madison taking on UNC at 12 p.m. Eastern on ACC Network. The Tar Heels are favored by minus 10.5. I'm going to say they are. I think UNC holds on to James Madison and they will win it by 9. Houston taking on Cincinnati, 12 p.m. Eastern on FS1. Cincinnati's favored by minus 3.5. This could be good. This could be one of those underdog games of the week. I think Cincinnati will win it really close. They will win it by 2. Tulane versus Louisiana's Raging Caxton on 12 p.m. Eastern on ESPNU. Tulane is favored by minus 2.5. I think Tulane wins it by 4. All right. Let's keep going because I'm now still watching this Thursday night game. Virginia taking on Coastal Carolina. This is another underdog game to watch. 2 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus. Virginia's favored by minus 3.5. I think Coastal Carolina wins it by 4. Utah State taking on Temple at 2 p.m. on ESPN Plus. Utah State's favored by minus 6.5. I think Utah State wins it by 5. This one should be a fun one. Georgia Tech taking on 19 ranked team in the country, Louisville, 3:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Louisville's favored by minus 10.5. This is where I go the ding dong here. I think Georgia Tech wins it. They win it by 6. Buffalo taking on 23rd team in the country, Northern Illinois. Shout out to that program after their impressive win against Notre Dame. Can they keep going? That's going to be played at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus. And Northern Illinois is favored by minus 13.5. I'm going to say they win it by 8. I think Buffalo's going to keep it really close, but I think there's going to be some struggles over there in Northern Illinois. Rutgers taking on Virginia Tech, 3:30 p.m. Eastern on ACC Network. Virginia Tech is favored by minus 3.5. Big Ten versus ACC, really going to be a good game. I'm going to say Virginia Tech wins it really close. It's a good home field advantage against the Scarlet Knights. I'm going to take the Virginia Tech Hookers. Arizona State taking on Texas Tech Red Raiders, 3:30 p.m. Eastern on FS1. The Red Raiders are favored by minus 3. I think Arizona State could make it closer. I'm going to say Texas Tech wins it by 2. All right, this is a rivalry game. Really hated rivalry. There was one person on Instagram, if you want to check that out, wearing the TCU sucks shirt. So you want to check that out. TCU versus SMU, 5 p.m. Eastern on DCW Network. TCU is favored by minus 2. TCU is coming off a heartbreaking loss to UCF, while SMU is looking to show they're the new conference leaders, right, with Miami, Clemson, and then NC State. However, I think this is where TCU needs to get this win. It's a must win for them. I'm going to go with TCU. I think the TCU fans are going to be loud. They want this revenge in this rivalry. TCU wins it by 4. East Carolina taking on Liberty at 6 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. Liberty's favored by minus 6.5. I'm going to go East Carolina upset, winning it by 3. Cal taking on FSU, 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. The Florida State Seminoles are favored by 2.5. Can we just say the Florida State could go 0-4? Florida State wins it by 3. No matter. I don't care. Iowa taking on Minnesota, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on NBC. Iowa's favored by minus 3. I think really close game. I think Iowa wins it by 4. Really close game. Michigan State taking on Boston College at 8 p.m. Eastern on ACC Network. Boston College favored by minus 6.5. I'm going to say Michigan State wins it by 5. Baylor taking on Colorado, 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Deion Sanders and the boys are up by minus 2. Really good game. I'm going to go Colorado winning it. Really close game. I'm going to say they win it by 3. 13th team in the country, Kansas State taking on BYU at 10:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. I'm going to go Kansas State winning it by 6. They are favored by minus 7, so Kansas State wins it by 6. And then finally, ULM taking on the number 1 team in the country, Texas. And we'll get to see Arch Manning on SEC Network Plus and ESPN Plus. Texas is favored by minus 44.5. I say Texas wins it by 50. Put a 50 burger on them. All right. This is the game. The game of the week. 6th ranked team in the country, undefeated Tennessee Volunteers, taking on the 15th team in the country, also undefeated, the Oklahoma Sooners, on ABC and ESPN Plus. Tennessee is favored by -6.5. Well, Jerry, your Sooners taking on a good Tennessee team who's been dominating every team since their 3-0 run. Now they're coming to Oklahoma's turf. The Sooners looking to hopefully go 4-0, while the Vols, they're thinking about the SEC championship in their heads right away. So let's get to it. Their head coach is a former Oklahoma quarterback. Of course, he played there as Oklahoma Sooners. Then he was with Brent Venables, I believe, the quarterbacks coach or offense coordinator before then taking the Tennessee job. He's done success in Tennessee with Hendon Hooker. Now with a new quarterback with Nico, I think it's Nico Mariara. I don't know. I can't pronounce his name. They're going to take on an Oklahoma Sooners team that's also 3-0, and they're coming off an impressive win against Tulane. So, how's this going to play it out? And this is going to be the game I'm going to be watching. This game's going to be a lot of fun. I think Tennessee is going to win this game really close. I think it's so close that I think the Sooners defense is going to try to do whatever it takes to keep that game close. And because of that, I'm going to go with the Sooners. I think the Sooners pull off the biggest upset against Tennessee, and they win it by 4. Jerry and I, we're going to be best friends, and we're going to go, good job. You picked Sooners over the Vols. Hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.